Hello and welcome to Jedediah's Corner. Today is February 19th and it's currently around 9 a.m. on the east coast of the United States of America. Are you sick of being lied to? I am. When the United States was hit after 9/11, many lies were told to push us into so many wars, it's hard to even keep track of them. One of the lies that was pushed to convince the American public that they needed to get into the war with Iraq was a lie pushed by the daughter of a diplomat who came on television and cried crocodile tears about babies having been supposedly ripped from their incubators and left to die by Saddam Hussein. Fast forward to the last 3 months in Gaza. When the first hospital was hit, we were told that Hamas had a military base underneath of that hospital, but still the international community objected to what is obviously an unjustifiable war crime. The evidence shown to the public was scanty and weak. Pictures of tunnels that exist under every single hospital in the entire world were shown. No Hamas base, no evidence. But yet they continued to bomb. Currently they have bombed every single hospital in Gaza. Do you know what that means? Every single hospital that had a maternity ward, children, babies in incubators were killed by Israel because of the indiscriminate nature of their attacks. They were not dropping precision-guided missiles. They were dropping bombs that go straight down and blow up whole neighborhood blocks. How many times will the international community object to war crimes that Israel commits, and how many times will the United States and other Western allies and backers shield them from all accountability? In 1967, the war that Israel provoked with the Arab nations surrounding it by refusing to share land with them and insisting on taking what was not theirs, the indigenous peoples rightly revolted and Israel won a war. But just like Putin annexing parts of Ukraine is not allowed, is considered by the international community to be a war crime, Israel annexed large portions of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip and has still not given them back, ignoring UN Security Council resolutions. Then Israel built their apartheid wall. The international community objected. There were UN resolutions condemning it as illegal. Israel still kept the wall. Operation Protective Edge, the first 7 days of October, settlers, settlements have not been addressed since a Republican president, George Bush, ordered some of them to be torn down. And I think they tore one down when Obama came to visit. It doesn't matter because there's over 600,000 settlers in settlements outside of the Green Line, which is another thing that the international community has objected to, past UN resolutions, and the United States and other Western allies have vetoed. When the ICJ hearing happened, South Africa took Israel to the court, the highest court in the world, to ask them to weigh in on whether this was a potential genocide or not. Remember, something like 30,000 civilians have been killed and many thousands more lie underneath the rubble. The United States media said that the case was unfounded before having even heard South Africa's arguments. The international media did not cover the arguments against Israel, but did show portions of Israel's defense. After the ICJ ruled that this could be a potential genocide, Israel once again stuck their middle finger up in the air and sneered at the international community and the tepid cautionary words from the United States. Then, the international community again held a hearing, I think it was 2 days ago now, on the same issue, but it has gotten much, much, much worse. No hospitals are left standing in Gaza. Functional? No functional hospitals. Civilians are sleeping in tents. They don't have food to eat, clean water to drink. A nation of traumatized children. Did Israel stop? No. They're trying to instigate a conflict outside of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Hamas comes to negotiate. They refuse. How long will Israel be allowed to spurn the words of the international community? Today in the news of the Western world, there is nothing about the ICJ hearing. Absolutely nothing. They instead revert back to the word of the United States President. And that leaves us to where we are right now. A long list of war crimes that would take much longer than several minutes to go over could be read out. Evidence could be presented. There is no debate about whether or not Israel has terrorized the Palestinians from the very beginning. And there is no debate as to whether they have committed a litany of war crimes both before and after October 7th. The only thing that seems to be potentially in the favor of the Palestinian people, and this is completely unbelievable, is the next Democratic primary in the United States. Think of how cynical and disgusting the world has become. That the apartheid wall didn't cause the international community to act. 30,000 people slaughtered in the genocide did not cause the international community to act. The annexing of land illegally did not allow the international community to act. The oppression and the apartheid did not allow the international community to act. Years of violence, slaughter, death, and dehumanization of millions of innocent people, and nothing is done. And now, one thing that may potentially cause movement is a Democratic primary in a state in the United States that houses a large portion of Muslim civilians. And that, from the US media, after all that has happened, after all of the legal cases, that is the one thing that might move the needle to just get a pause in the constant killing of Palestinian civilians. What really matters to this world order? What really matters to Western hegemony? The Palestinian people don't even factor in. If October 7th hadn't happened, we wouldn't be having this discussion, but Palestinians would still be dying. They would just be dying in quiet. They would be dying in darkness. They would be dying in silence. With all their advocates so worn out from years of fighting against horrible, horrific actions, crimes against humanity, and seeing the perpetrators of those crimes walk away scot-free every single time for almost 100